Okay, so the facade is done from 0 to 80%, let's say, and unfortunately there's a little error there. You can see it. The three windows aren't evenly spaced. I don't know what I was thinking, but I know for a fact that I'll correct that. Things like that happen. It's sometimes hard to just focus on one thing and another thing. So, how are we going to draw the perspective? Going to our subject right now. We are going to fit everything into a square, okay? Into a square in plane of view, and then sculpt the outline of the other volumes. Okay, sculpt the footprint, more accurately said. So sculpt the footprint. The whole volume is going to have the height of volume number 2, okay, or the middle one. And from there, we are going to add the other heights on top, so you get a nice composition. So we got the square footprint, almost square footprint. We need to measure up the dimensions for the other two volumes. I'd say all three of them, because we need to sculpt all three of them out of that square. So the way you do that is by literally taking the dimensions from the plane of view, splitting them in half, and adding them there on your plan. Because again, the plan in our constructed perspective is at a 1 to 200 scale, and our plan in the assignment sheet is at 1 to 100. Okay, so that's half for the constructed perspective. And it goes the same way. The perspective technique is the same. The only thing that differs is that we need to operate on the perspective in a different way. So it starts off the same, and then we do this volume sculpting thing, which is measured this time. Okay, so we got our basic little volume. Let's expand on that. It's a very horizontal volume. The horizon line is at 165 again, which means 0.8, let's say, at a 1 to 200 scale. So we are extending our perspective. Okay. And that's for starters. Yeah, expanding our perspective, parallels as always, parallel lines, just gliding one triangle on top of another. Okay, and then expanding the plane of view. Okay, good. So we got a couple of more faces to go, and then we're done, and we'll start sculpting the whole constructed perspective. So you can see that these techniques build on top of each technique builds on top of the other, and that's how things work. Right. Again, another parallel, and then we're set. What we are going to do is just draw the volume as it is, and then start adding detailing. Maybe we will get more good ideas. Maybe, I don't know, something's going to happen. No way to be sure of that unless you experiment, you know. That's why drawing is about generating ideas from the process. At one stage in your professional career, you will want to stop that. You want to focus on, you'll never stop drawing, but you will stop counting on visual elements for constructing a design. Okay? Sometimes drawing can be a bad thing in this way, because it gets you stuck to the visual. Right now, we are exploring the visual, but in the near future, even following this course, we are going to start using different types of conceptual work. Okay, different types of conceptual drawings, you could say, which aren't perspectives and sketches and stuff like that. Okay, good. Let's see. Yeah, we got our volume there, and we are taking the plan, thickening its outline. If you are worried by now, if you're still worried that that's going to ruin the whole drawing, don't think like that. It's adding lines and lines is going to create a lot of information, and is actually going to make your drawing look a lot better. Okay, so we're adding the different volumes, each on top of the other. Okay, so this makes sense, right? We are using constructed perspective at a whole new level. Okay, there's a couple of more increments to learning proper constructed perspective, and then that's it. You're set for for focusing on other parts of the drawing process, as perspective was going to be pretty much handled. Okay, so drawing the floor plan 1 to 200, and we are going to project on that. Basically, you need, it's not enough just to draw the outline. Obviously, measure, but you need the lines to be set all the way through, so they reach the perimeter of our square. Although it's not really a square, it's closer to it's a rectangle that's close to a square in proportion. Okay, you'll need that. You need both points for one line, because you'll use them to project on the little perspective. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. So projecting through the first point and then through the second one. Okay, see there. So that's one projection, stopping there. Again, frontal projection. Again, the second projection for the first point. Okay. And we are increasing using the viewing point in the foreground, in the frontal view and small perspective, to project from these 2 points onto the large perspective. Okay, good. Now with vertical lines, we're all set. Okay, good. Next. Yeah, the other point. Going all the way like that. Yeah, going to project. So we are pretty much going to do this for all the points. That's the objective for this lesson. For this part of the lesson, sorry. It's complicated. To get a good drawing, you need to go through many steps. It's like a machine with a lot of moving parts. And if you take one part out, everything falls. So I advise you look at this lesson, you watch this lesson a couple of times, just to make sure. To make sure you understand the lesson at a proficient level. Okay, just enough to move forward, because you don't want to fall in that mental trap of thinking you need to understand things 101%. You need to understand things enough so you can move forward. The wisdom and all of this is going to get there by constant exercise. Trust me, after 4 or 5 other more evolved lessons in perspective, you are going to understand everything. It's going to click together. You get perspective by going through 10 lessons like this, and not by just sticking to this step and trying to get it 100%. Right? So what I'm trying to do is to stop you from that perfectionist mindset, which is counterproductive. So I've projected for the other points. Okay. The exact same mindset, stopping them on the backlines. Obviously, I'm going to use the proportions. This is going to get a bit tricky because we need to figure out proportions for the backlines. Okay, so that line over there goes up once and a bit extra. Okay, let's say that. How did I figure that out? I guesstimated, let's say, in the facade. So the height of volume number 2, or B, is twice and a bit on volume number 3. Okay, the tall volume. Okay, so that's just the outline. Remember, we are calculating on this perspective. It's not there yet, so you need to constantly sketch on top of it, and right, to get those ideas. Okay, good. Some more ideas there. This actually needs to go in perspective a bit lower, the top line, for the cantilevered volume. Okay, good. So we basically need to sculpt now, to sculpt everything so we get a clear understanding of everything. Okay, good. The way you can measure lines exactly, so basically measure a segment exactly, is because I need to find out that top part. Okay, I draw a segment, then measure the large unit, okay, and then the top part from the facade. Okay, then I draw another segment close to it, and then I draw the perspective height, unite the point from the perspective height with the other point, and then I draw a parallel to that from this little distance from the facade. Okay, and by adding that, by intersecting that parallel with the other line, you get the other point. So again, you draw a line, you measure the large unit and the small unit from the facade, and then on another segment that's intersecting that literally, you measure the height you have in perspective, and then you connect the measurement of the height in frontal view with that in perspective, and draw a parallel to the small line, to the dot that you get from the small line on the facade. And when that parallel intersects the other line, you get the measurement for perspective. It's a bit complicated. Before you need to grab a A4 sheet of paper and test this out. Okay, it's 100% learnable though. Okay, it's a geometrical construction to get proportions right. Okay, note it down, don't forget. Okay, so I'm sketching the windows right now, and yeah, I'm just brainstorming. See that small error there? Caught my eye. Okay, good. Correcting that, it looks a bit better. Yeah. Okay, so what have we learned till now? The planar view projection, where we construct our volume, and how to get that line, that dimension in perspective. So you got one segment, again, third time I'm explaining this. You put the large height and the small height from the facade. Then on the other segment, you put the height from the perspective. You connect the dot from the perspective to the dot from the facade for the first line, and then you draw a parallel from the other line. Okay, and where it intersects, you get the small height in perspective. Okay, fair enough. Do a couple of sketches on this just to make sure. And now we are sketching how the facade is going to look like in perspective. Okay, the vertical dominant is going to look a bit smaller because it's in the perspective. It's not that elegant, let's say, as it is in facade. You still have a small perspective mistake there in the foreground. These things tend to sneak in on you, and you need to correct them. Okay, good. And we're basically, drawing what we drew in the facade. We're drawing in perspective right now. Okay, those windows, we are using diagonals to move them forward. So each of these gaps needs to be kind of the same. Okay, so connecting one corner with the middle of a segment and then extending that, and you get another segment. You get another point, where you can draw a vertical segment, and you get halves in perspective. Good. Yeah, there's a small error there. I'm correcting it as we speak. Happens. Okay. Right, especially if you're more right-brained. If you're logical, you won't ever draw this. Being sarcastic here. So always keep the guard up for perspective mistakes, for all types of mistakes, because in a complete workflow, those tend to creep in. So we are drawing some small shrubs there, just to add a bit of context to cover up that horizon line. And we are going to draw a bit of entourage and context for this sketch, just basic stuff. I'm not even trying to add serious entourage. It's always a good idea to try to express one thing through a drawing, mainly the assignment. Don't go for entourage, assignment, this crazy color composition you learned 3 weeks ago. No, just go for one thing at a time. Later you'll test these things out. So I'm basically drawing very simple entourage, some stairs in the foreground, some lamps, 2 people there, and maybe a bit of trees and shrubs, and that's it, nothing more. We don't need more. We just need to construct the perspective properly, add cast shadows, and then that's it. Yeah, shrubs, they connect like that. Good, good. Yeah, a tree there maybe. And that's it for entourage. Very simple, just to give a bit of context. You can take things further and devise a function for this this pavilion. Maybe it's a exhibition area for models, for architecture models, or exhibition area for contemporary artists, or stuff like that. It's a resting area, it's a wine tasting area, it's area or pavilion. It's a wine tasting pavilion, or food court, or whatever. Okay, very small food court. You can add all those things together and get an interesting drawing. So let's start basically thickening these lines. Okay, so you get a decent line drawing. You can see if you take it step by step, it's fairly easy to understand everything. You break things down into bite-sized chunks as we speak. Okay, thickening the verticals, all these lines going in perspective. Be sure to use that left-hand side perspective point because it is on your page. Okay, and take things from there. Right, all these windows, everything. Don't forget, all windows are inset, so you need to show that in perspective. That makes sense and it looks good. Volumes are always going to look better when they are sculpted in. Instead, you see that small edge there, sculpted in instead of just having windows like something that's painted on the facade. Okay, you don't want it to be painted, you want it to be inset, like it's a different volume. Okay, small perspective mistakes there, happens. Okay, and just this part is all about the line drawing. You are going to use a triangle to thicken all these lines to make sure everything reads correctly. Yeah, draw all the windows, all of them are inset. Draw the texture on our cantilevered volume, etc. Okay, this is fairly repetitive, but it's essential. Okay, that's the part where I said the glass is going in, so it's not just on a wall somehow. It goes around our terrace. Okay, good, good. Yeah. Okay, good. Using the perspective point on the left hand side. Use all these tools together because they'll make your end objective a lot easier to reach. The end objective of a good drawing. There's a small perspective mistake there as well, correcting it right now. Yeah. Always remember to clean your triangles. Just literally wash them or wipe them with just simple wipes, so you don't smudge. You could use Scotch tape, paper Scotch tape, to add on them so they don't smudge. You see the 30-degree triangle has got that. This 45-degree one doesn't. Okay, more thickening of the lines. We'll make sure to over thicken those lines at a point, and then we will go for the cast shadows. Okay, good. Cast shadows are really good. We learned cast shadows in you see how it goes? We learned cast shadows in axonometric, and now we are applying them to this complex set of circumstances, let's say. Okay, let's thicken all these lines, a bit of brainstorming on the spot. Okay, good, good. Yeah, there's going to be a path that shifts angle there. Okay, more lines. Then we are going to construct the cast shadows next. Probably thicken the entourage. Just go for contour lines. And that's going to create a lot of the effect of a finished drawing. As I've said before, a drawing needs to be presentable just by line drawing. You see, most students, I've noticed, try to hide away line drawing with hatching. they don't understand that it's the opposite. You need to make hatching just like the icing on the cake. Although you probably have this preconceived notion that hatching is the most important, I'd say it's 80-20. 80% is the line drawing and 20% is the hatching. Although it literally occupies a large surface of your page, hatching is actually very easy to do. You just need to have a good drawing that you can hatch on top of. Okay, 60 degrees on a horizontal, cast shadow time. And as you see, my triangle has got scotch tape, paper scotch tape on top of it, on the back side, sorry, the one that slides on paper, so you can, so it doesn't smudge. Okay, we are constructing everything. Maybe we can guesstimate these small shadows. See those small L's that you get on all these little windows? You need that, okay? Small L's. Yeah. As I said in previous lessons, in real life, shadow doesn't really fall on glass, except in the case that glass is very in the case of glass not being clean, okay? But in drawing, you always construct cast shadows on glass. Okay, we got that inset part over there. I tried to guesstimate it, but it actually looks better if you construct it. Okay, let's thicken the outline of our cast shadow. Really simple stuff. Okay. Yeah. If you squint your eyes, you can see what I'm talking about with a strong line drawing. You see, we actually went through multiple stages until we got here. And we got the cast shadow for the back lines as well, for the back volume, sorry. Okay, it's going to be like something like that. Again, thickening. Okay, good. Maybe we can add a texture on the cantilevered volume, and then we're set. Right, thickening in these lines a bit. Yeah, because they are going to need very strong contrast. Yeah, maybe a bit of entourage stuff to have a clear idea where our pavilion is. Okay, good. And we are getting close to the end with this line drawing exercise for our pavilion. Next up, we have that 1-point perspective. We need to construct that as well. Then we'll go for hatching everything and then the final graphics.